What's going on? You're in the Beat Sessions. I'm your host, Mitchell Weary. It's Friday, May 27th. Hope you all have a fantastic holiday weekend in front of you. Be safe and remember to take a moment to reflect on why it is that we're celebrating this weekend. And then take a moment to check out this new record from Def Leppard. It's entitled Diamond Star Halos. This is the band's 12th studio album, and it follows up their 2015 self-titled release. And I love that homage to T-Rex in the title, Little Diamond Star Halos. It's appropriate considering the way that glam rock, amongst many other things, has influenced this band now for over 40 years. I love what Def Leppard brings to the table. I think that for 4 decades now, they have cultivated and really honed in on a very unique style of rock and roll that is very much their own. There's a lot of people that I know that do not like this band. A lot of people that give me crap about listening to Def Leppard, and I don't know why. I think they're great. I think there's so many things about this band that make them so unique. Joe Elliott, his voice, signature. There's no one out there like him. I mean, you know when you're listening to a Def Leppard song when he starts singing. I love Rick Allen and his drumming. I mean, his drums always sound so big. That's another feature of their music that I love. The different guitar tones that they're working with. You know, Rick Savage is just that on bass. I really love his riffs, and especially on this new record. This record is highlighting all the different genres and influences that their style of rock and roll works with. Call it 80s hair metal, call it what you will. It's more than that, though. And on this particular record, Rick sounds like he's been hanging out with Adam Clayton. There's quite a few moments on this record where I hear an influence from a band like U2, which when you think of Def Leppard, you just don't really think U2, but that's what makes these guys great. That's why they still are so popular to this day. Pretty consistent output. I mean, their first record came out in 1980, so 12 records in roughly 42 years. I think that's a solid output of albums. And if you look at Pyromania and Hysteria alone, those 2 records, they're both certified diamond. So Def Leppard is one of only 5 bands next to the Beatles, Led Zeppelin, Pink Floyd, and Van Halen to have 2 albums with diamond status. So there's that. And those 2 records alone have sold like 40 million copies worldwide or something like that. Def Leppard, they've had an incredible impact on music, and they deserve to be in the limelight the way they are. This record is a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it for the most part. It is a big affair, though. There's a lot of music on this thing, 15 songs, 62 minutes. I got to admit that aside from laughing at all the woes, there's lots of woes. Made me think of NoFX and their song "Woe on the Woes." They were giving the Offspring a hard time with that track, but I think that song could apply to this record. That and there's some moments where this thing just feels a little bloated. Honestly, I bring up the prolific output because it's not like, even though 7 years have gone by, this doesn't feel like a comeback record. This is a band that puts out a record roughly every 4 years. So, I mean, I think that it would have been cool to just see them roll with a heavy-hitting rock and roll album. I like the influence of U2 on this record. I think there's a lot of other cool rock and roll elements on this thing that if we just taken away some of the balladry, because a lot of it is really cheesy for the most part, we would have just had a better overall record here. But let's get into the track listing onto this thing. Take What You Want is your first song. It's this mid-tempo light intro that's kind of it's very misleading, actually. It acts as a great intro song because of that intro, but then once this thing kicks in, it's just a good old-fashioned rocker that you would expect from a band like Def Leppard, and I like the way it opens up this album. Kick is your second song. Catchy hard rocker. It's going to keep that momentum going. Leads into your third track, Fire It Up. Cool riff on this song. It's just this groovy, heavy blues style rocker. And the song reminded me of Aerosmith a lot. I really liked what they were working with on this track. This Guitar is your fourth song. It's a nice moment on the record. I don't know if it fits on the album, though. It's a great duet with Alison Krauss. It's actually the first of 2 times that she appears on this record. And I feel that this particular song, more than the second track that she's on, just feels out of place on this record. I think as a promotional single, it would have been really cool to release this track and then have her featured on another song on this album. Might have been a cool way to carry that over, but I feel for, just for the sake of continuity, this guitar is throwing this record off a little bit, and I think that it could have been used in a lot better ways than in this particular spot on this record. Number 5 track, SOS Emergency, is a funny track. It's got kind of that inspirational 90s rock feel. Think of honestly, if this track, I should have looked it up, if this track isn't on the soundtrack for the new Top Gun movie, I think that they really missed an opportunity. But the moment you throw that on, you're going to know exactly what I'm talking about. It's very pop driven. It's got this cool riff to it. I really like the riff in that particular track, but it's I don't know how I feel about the moment necessarily. It's good, but it's got a little bit of cheese to it. Liquid Dust though is your sixth track. Excuse me. I love this song. This song has this 90s Brit alt feel, and Def Leppard, Brit band. The styles, it's about a decade before they really started. So think of like catchy, upbeat Oasis with this particular track. I love the influence, and I love the way that this thing works right into You Rock Me, your seventh track. Cool opening riff on this track. It's got this great world feel, and I like how bass driven this song is. The chorus is rocking, and then as it fills out towards the end, you just got this big finish. And this is the first time where I'm really feeling that U2 influence on this record. Really appreciating it there. Goodbye for Good This Time is your eighth track. Big ballad here, lots of cheese. Really not feeling this song a whole lot. There's this these strings come in, there's all this orchestration. It gets really cheesy. All the woes get replaced with ahs on this particular track. It's people are going to disagree with me on this. I don't think it's a good moment, and I think that it makes for a bloated runtime. Part of that bloated runtime, there's a few other tracks, unfortunately. All We Need is your ninth song. This getting back to that feeling of U2, and I feel that just for the sake of continuity, you have Liquid Dust, You Rock Me. If that had just skipped Goodbye for Good This Time and rolled into All We Need, that ninth track, feel like you would have had just a better overall, just fluid motion on that record. Let me see here. Open Your Eyes, your 10th song. Excuse me. Love the bass riff on this song. This is one of my favorite tracks. Great prog rock feel. It's got a little funk in it. Really nice guitar solo, and then it's going to lead into your 11th song, Give Me a Kiss. And this is where I feel the album really starts to falter a little bit as far as this back end and these end songs. Really like the run of the first half of this record, but Give Me a Kiss, it sounds like Kiss. I'm not the biggest fan of Kiss. They make great, fun sounding pop rock and roll music, but it's that commercialization. They sound so commercial, and they're a band that, the face paint, there's so much gimmick there that it's hard to. I'm willing to listen to the argument, but I disagree with the argument that the music comes first with a band like Kiss. I just don't think it does. And this song, it's sounding just pretty recycled. It's kind of unfortunate. Your 12th track, Angels, Can't Help You Now, is going to keep this kind of cheesy balladry going again. Wish they had just removed those two songs and rolled right into Lifeless, your 13 track. This is that other Alison Krauss cameo. Excuse me. I love her feature on this song. This song sounds like U2 again, too. Really digging the energy and the feel of it. Really great track there. It's going to lead in your penultimate track, Unbreakable. Really like the vocal intro, big brooding riff. It's got this electro dance feel. This is a catchy song. This is a very interesting track showing off what Def Leppard does that makes them so unique. This is a rock and roll track that there's a lot going on that you've heard, but you've probably just not heard the way that a band has put it together, the way Def Leppard is doing it on this song. It took me a couple listens to kind of wrap myself around it, but I like it. I think it makes for a great penultimate track, and it leads into From Here to Eternity, which has got this kind of like gloomy Pink Floyd The Wall feel to it, and it's 5.5 minutes. I'm joking about the title because From Here to Eternity takes about 5.5 minutes with this song. It's not a great album closer. Like I said, the back half of this record, it's kind of unfortunate. There's a lot of really good material on this record, especially if you're a Def Leppard fan like me. I definitely would give it a run, but it's going to be on a double LP with the runtime, with the bloated material that's on there and some of that balladry. I'm just going to have to pass on the LP. So, if you choose to buy this, I hope you enjoy this project. I hope you enjoy that wax, but I'm just going to stream some of these other songs that I really liked. Regardless of what you do, I hope you enjoyed this project. I hope you find this review helpful as well. Please like this video, share it, subscribe to the channel, do all the things to help me blow this project up in 2022, and stay tuned throughout the week for more album reviews. We will see you next time on the Beat Sessions.